Shut up.
Sorry, I was helping. Sorry. It's not my video, you're right. I'll shut up.
Anyway. Action.
My leg's in shot.
No, actually, you're not in shot anymore.
I'm not in shot.
Lonnie, you rolled up your...
Yeah, I just had to get that little bit of skin on
your
the
camera.
Okay.
Capture that.
Alright, so the
Am I in
song...
shot?
Yes! The song is quite obviously about the singer losing someone close to him. And I asked in my questionnaire which relation or like what relation to the singer you think this person that died is. And the most common answer was that it was a family member that he lost, and I just wanted to hear what you guys thought about that. Whether you think it should be a romantic partner, a best friend, a lover, a parent, you know. So what do you guys think? Jess, can I start with you?
Well, I think a family member, because I don't think we get a lot of like family relationship representation in media. I think a lot of them are mainstream like romantic relationships, so I think it's quite nice to have like a family member kind of representation in a song.
Beautiful, thank you. Freya, can you add on that?
I actually initially thought it was a girlfriend, but I think using a family member, like Jess said, would be have more depth to it and be more interesting.
Nice. And Rhys?
Yeah, I've got to agree here. I think what people would be expecting for you to do is go for like the classic like lover, as if like romantic or lover. But I think if you switch it and do something like a brother or a sister, you know, I think actually a brother would be quite nice. Then I think the message would really hit home, you know.
Okay, nice. And
I think the beauty of the song is that it's not very specific, so you can sort of apply it to sort of any sort of scenario of grief or loss or whatever, and it sort of works. So I think even though it's probably most likely that he was singing about like, oh my girlfriend's dead or whatever, but it works in sort of any scenario, and I think that's use that to your advantage. I think like a family member would be more interesting because feels sort of like the romantic aspect is kind of overdone.
Yeah, or leaving it ambiguous, not
That's
even
true,
having
yeah.
another character to be seen, and then leaving it up to the audience.
That goes quite well with the song then, because which leaves it ambiguous as well. I think. Well, I mean, obviously it's entirely up to you, depending whether you take a more like, you know, whether you want to take the song more literally or sort of put your own spin on it.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. There's quite a big focus on him with his faith and his religion, going to church and praying and talking to God. Do you think that should be like a main focus of the music video? Maybe filming in locations such as a church and the graveyard cemetery, the visuals of grief? Or do you think that might not be as important and focus on the performance aspect of the song? Yes, Jess.
Sorry.
Raise your hand.
I apologise.
I think symbolism of religion can be quite important in this, like grief in religion can be quite important in this, but I think if you're gonna do that, maybe don't narrow it down to like the basic, you know, Catholic, Christian. Obviously, because then it can be open to interpretation for anyone watching the music video. I think that's quite beautiful because that like it shows grief in many different ways in a sense, rather than like the basic kind of, you know, kind of mainstream kind of vibes. So yeah, I think it's
Perfect. Freya, you got anything to say or not?
I do agree with Jess that keeping it vague, like keeping the identity of the other person vague, would be quite good. Keeps it applicable to everyone, but I do think that Christian symbolism is probably easier to portray because it's more commonly known, so I don't think it's a bad thing if you do use it more. Yeah.
Such as filming at a church rather than going to film at a mosque?
Yes, I feel like it's more recognisable, and like the cross and stuff like that, they're more like universally accepted, if that makes sense, and
yep.
recognised.
Got it. Rhys?
Depending if like Benson talks a lot more about religion more than he talks about this romantical partner. You could maybe switch it up again, and it's not exactly a religion that he's worshipping, but rather a person, you know.
Oh.
Could say it's a very brutal kind of relationship, you know, that he's just so focused on this one person.
And how about vice versa? That the person that he's lost
Is
actually his religion,
actually his religion.
and it's all about losing his
It's actually
religion.
Jesus,
Mm.
exactly.
And no
there's lots of to be fair, the song is very flexible. It's a good choice.
Yeah. Right, thanks, Lonnie.
That was a great idea. I think it would be interesting. I mean, it's sort of like it's your music video, right? Like maybe it would be interesting to explore rather than like broader ideas of faith, but specifically like your experience and relationship with it, or the experience and relationship of it of your, because we have to invent like a musical artist for this, of your musical artist that you're creating. It might be interesting to to do that in a sense, and sort of rather, and you can consider also like the original intentions of Benson Boone, but it might be interesting to explore like your own relationship to faith and that sort of thing within the video. But I think Rhys's ideas sounds really cool. That's all I have to say about that.
Wonderful. So after doing some research on the artist's original intentions for this music video, I actually found that the relationship he was talking about in the song was that of him and his grandmother that passed away. Now, after hearing that, does that change your opinions on what should happen, or do you think I should take my own kind of approach to this music video? Whoever, yep, Lonnie?
Do you want to
Carry on,
speak?
you carry on.
Okay. I mean, I think that definitely reinforces our sort of assumptions about it being about a family member. But I think it's important to as a director to like, you want to make it personal to either you or to the invented artist. So I think anything, if you have an experience with something similar to that, like it could even be a dog, right? And just portraying something that you understand, that you can relate to, that is real to you. I think that's more important than how close it is to the original musician's intent, because it is left ambiguous. And I think whatever's produced that you have sort of first-hand experience of will probably be it'll be better. It'll be more real. Whatever.
Great, thanks. Anyone else? Freya?
I thought, the fact it's a grandmother I think links really nicely into Rhys's idea, because I feel like a lot of the time family and religion are really heavily connected, and maybe losing someone in your family, especially if they're very religious, can cause you to rethink faith. And I think maybe exploring the idea of how religion and family are connected, and how losing one can lose the other as well, like Rhys said, could be quite an interesting concept.
And for those two on the right will understand this, that strongly links with Goodwin's kind of application of the link between lyrics and visuals, so maybe portraying a story that has both losing your religion and losing someone, which the lyrics focus heavily on. Could be follow the conventions of a music video, which obviously work, because that's why they're so common. Yeah, thanks. I also want to ask about how heavily focused on the narrative of the story should the music video be in comparison to the performance aspects, because I want to try and include both in there, make it look like a performance so that it then links in with my created artist, but also focus on the emotional side of the story. So how much of each do you think would suit this song?
I think I think a narrative can be really important because it adds a bit of weight and adds a bit of meaning to a music video, I think. And I think you still can do that with a performance, but I think a performance is more there as an entertainment factor.
Yep.
So I think I think having a balance, like you include both narrative and both performance, is really good because it makes it entertaining and engaging for the audience, while also giving them a story that they can that they can get involved in as well.
Great. Jess, do you have anything to add to that?
I think it mainly depends on how you kind of expect to intertwine them, because obviously it's kind of hard to do both while being able to tell a story in such a short amount of time. So I think it kind of depends on how you kind of do it, like if you're doing it through like flashbacks throughout the performance, or if you're doing it as a entirely separate thing, or if you're doing it as through like symbolism or something like that. I think it kind of just depends on how you'll be able to do it, because otherwise it could make it quite maybe confusing for the audience, in a sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good. And on top of that, do you think that the main focus character of the story should be the artist that's performing the song?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, does everyone agree with that?
I think
It's
so.
his story, you know. Like
Yep. It's personal.
Yeah.
Makes it more
Yeah.
personal.
Makes more sense if it's from his perspective.
Yeah. So obviously the emotions in the song are quite like a prominent part, and it's quite upsetting. It can make people upset. It relates to people. It's very sad. There's not much happy about it. So how crucial of a role do you think like pathetic fallacy and the weather and the atmosphere of the shots are going to play in this? So obviously filming around November, Christmas time. It's going to be some icy cold weather. Do you think maybe a rainy day might finally be a good day for filming?
Good one.
Oh,
Jess?
you
Thanks,
put
Jess.
that-
I was just going to say, maybe it's like, yeah, of course, I get that, but maybe it'd be kind of interesting if you kind of played with maybe some juxtaposition in that kind of aspect, like using rain to show sadness is kind of like
Stereotypical.
quite mainstream. So maybe nearing like the Christmas times, you could use like the Christmas kind of like joy to juxtapose from his loneliness, if that makes sense. Maybe going through the Christmas markets, do you know what I mean? Seeing everyone else happy and together can juxtapose from his own sadness.
I really, really like that. Thank you, Jess. Lonnie?
Would have you consider though that whilst that is a great idea, the person marking it will be marking it in like June or something, so they might, I don't know, like it might be a bit jarring to be watching a Christmas themed music video in the middle of like summer, but otherwise I think that's a good idea. I think though it is also, you know, it's fine to lean into convention, I think, when it works and isn't too cliche. So I think like having someone like walking out in the rain, like throwing themselves around, like whilst like as long as you do it in a to a degree where it's not like, you know, cheesy, I think it could be effective.
Thank you.
I think just like catching a sense of like, you know, using the weather just to make some really like nice shots, I think would work really well with, not
Focusing on the videography.
not specifically in the sense of, oh, he's sad or she's sad, so it has to rain. Like, I think you can still you can use like golden hour shots to still make the shot look really beautiful, and then in that sense it makes the you know, whatever feeling the artist is feeling like more emotional, because you know, you have that you got because like visually everything is very beautiful, it's very like, you know, I want to say heartwarming, but then you have the emotion of the artist as well to work with that, so overall it just makes it a emotional scene, I reckon.
It's gorgeous, thank you.
So,
Freya, do you have
yeah.
anything to end this off?
I'm kind of thinking what Jess was about the juxtaposition, and the stuff about not making it too Christmassy with Lonnie, I think that there's some truth to that. So maybe just, I don't know if you can change the lighting so that on other people it's more vivid, and for him it's more like muted or like sounds or whatever. So there's like a clear juxtaposition, but not like blaringly obvious. So it's not,
Right. So maybe not as obvious as Christmas joy, but maybe just seeing other people go about their day-to-day lives,
Yeah.
smiling and laughing and having a good time, whereas this person can't get over the fact that he's depressed, he's sad.
Like
Yeah.
in Stop Where You Are that we do in media, what's her face?
That's a
Yeah.
terrible music video.
It's a terrible music video, but they use the contrast and colour in that exact way.
Oh yeah.
Can I just add? Oh. Oh hey.
Hi.
Can I just add something quickly?
Of course you can.
Just to argue. Just to argue my own point about Christmas. Don't necessarily make it all about Christmas joy.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you're going to go down the religious route, right, not go down because Christmas is a religious holiday.
Yeah.
Which I think can be, which I think can be accentuated in this music video. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Jess.
Are you still recording?
I am.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.